Good afternoon, this is JP de Oliveira, the Wandering Clinician. I'm coming to you from Sarasota, Florida. I'm there this week for a family wedding, and so I'm working from Florida and decided to make a video. I talked to a patient on Monday who asked me the very important question: what is the difference between self-concept and self-esteem? And so I will start with describing what self-esteem is, then I will talk about self-concept, and then I will talk about the differences. So let's talk about self-esteem. Self-esteem is how you see yourself. And a lot of times self-esteem is not merely developed through the way you see yourself, it's also developed through the way you interact with the world, how other people see you, the type of exchanges you have with other people, the values that you hold. Every time you do something that's aligned with who you are as a person, you're going to feel good. And every time you're going to do something that is not aligned with yourself, you're going to feel bad. So for example, if you're somebody who is very honest and you start telling lies, your self-esteem is going to go down. You're going to feel worthless, or you're going to feel not as good as you generally do. It is almost like your self-esteem is a very essential component for well-being. If you don't have good self-esteem, you cannot feel well. And people will tell you, you need to improve your self-esteem, and that's all well and good. So for example, one way to improve your self-esteem right away is to make a list of things that aren't aligned with your values that you do on a regular basis, and really focus on changing that. So for example, I had a patient when I was working in schools, a little girl that used to lie a lot. She used to tell a lot of lies. And so one day I said to her, for every lie you tell, you must tell 3 things that are true. And so that way you'll always be 3 times more honest than you're lying. And so I told her that, and after a while, before you knew it, she started telling more the truth than lying. She started feeling better about herself because she was more aligned with what she expected of herself. So self-esteem is not only what other people tell you about yourself, it's about how you view yourself. And ultimately, it's an internal process. It's not an external process, even though you use data from the community, from the people in your family, from your friends, from school, from work. Ultimately, it's how you view yourself. Self-concept is more about how you define yourself. It's how you view your capacity, your ability, your talents, so self-esteem is more about feeling. Self-concept is more about perceiving and about sizing yourself. So for example, someone who says I'm a great athlete might display good self-esteem by saying I'm a great athlete, but the self-concept is really about how one perceives themselves as being a great athlete. So it's part of your identity. That's the way you mold your social discourse, yourself, your personality, and the way you measure yourself. For example, when you talk to some people about them, you say, hey, tell me more about you. And they will define themselves as a father, a husband, a son, a worker, a churchgoer, or an athlete. It's the labels that you kind of endorse for yourself that define who you are. So self-concept is about defining who you are. Self-esteem is about feeling about yourself. So to answer the question from my patient on Monday, self-esteem is about how you feel about yourself, your self-worth. And self-concept is how you define yourself and how you perceive yourself to be. And so self-concept is one thing, self-esteem is another. They're very similar in many ways, and they're very intertwined. Somebody with great self-concept will generally have great self-esteem. Somebody with low self-esteem might have a poor self-concept. So your self-concept is a comprehensive way of looking at yourself, whereas the self-esteem is about how you feel about yourself.